welcome to this edition of Supervisors Report with our president of the board, Nate Miley. I'm your host, Dr. Marshall Kamena. Welcome, President and Supervisor Miley.
Thank you so very much.
I'm certainly glad to see you. And may I just start right out with an easy question about Governor Newsom?
Oh, okay.
Just days after ordering 120 California Highway Patrol officers to the East Bay, Governor Gavin Newsom announced plans to also send state attorneys to Alameda County to beef up prosecutions of numerous serious and complex crimes. A quote from the Mercury News said, "The move was welcomed by the county's top prosecutor and lauded by the state attorney general, who began his political career by winning a city council seat in the East Bay, but criticized as a terrible idea by the Alameda County public defender." Might you have any comments that you can share with us?
Yes, so for sure. I think what the governor did in sending 120 Highway Patrol officers to assist Oakland in addressing the blatant and brazen lawlessness that's occurring in Oakland, which I consider not, like the epicenter of a lot of these problems, or the poster child for a lot of the criminality we're experiencing. I think it was really, really great. And the fact that he also has gotten more prosecutors to come and assist the district attorney, I think it's also great. I think the public defender has a perspective, and we want the scales of justice to be balanced. And the public defender, I know from his background and the work that he does, is very, very committed to defending, providing necessary legal counsel for defendants. But as an elected official, I look at things from a more balanced perspective, and I really feel this, as I call it, blatant and brazen lawlessness has gotten out of hand. And I do feel, and others don't feel this way, but I feel this way, that law enforcement can serve as a deterrent as long as they're doing their jobs constitutionally and professionally. And if they're doing what former President Obama pushed, 21st century policing, that's even more significant. And the police are the community, and we are the police. And when police do community-oriented policing, that's also of assistance. So having the CHP here and additional prosecutors will allow for this activity, this criminal activity that's occurring in Oakland to be curbed. And hopefully with this type of targeted effort, and I do understand that the governor, it's not over. This surge was an initial sort of thrust, but there'll be a continued presence of CHP officers for the foreseeable future. I'm hoping that this brings about results and also helps not only to make Oakland safer, which is the county seat, but also makes the county of Alameda a safer place as well.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Now, there's an effort aimed at the November ballot to toughen drug and theft penalties loosened nearly a decade ago by California's Prop 47 and it got a boost recently. What are your feelings, and do you have other thoughts about dealing with this issue?
Yes, I do. I really feel in order to address criminal activity, we need to be looking at it from three perspectives. Upstream, which is prevention, intervention, and law enforcement. And we need all three of that three-part equation. We need resources to look at prevention and upstream root causes of crime. Then we need intervention in order to deal with those who might be caught up in the criminal justice system and it's not warranted for them maybe to be incarcerated. And then we need law enforcement. So the mere fact that Prop 47 is being looked at once again in terms of whether or not it should be reformed as opposed to repeal, I think is a good thing, because law enforcement actually informed me when Prop 47 was on the ballot that it probably wouldn't be good and would have unintended consequences. I heard what they said, but nonetheless, I still voted for 47. I don't regret voting for 47, but I do feel 47 needs to be reformed so that those who are inclined to commit criminal activity are not encouraged to do it because the law is lenient. And I think Prop 47 produces a situation where it's very lenient, and it produces a situation where crime does pay as opposed to crime doesn't pay. So folks feel that they can get away with retail theft and other types of criminal activity that's below the threshold of $900 and get away with it. And it's $900 per, and $900 roughly per incident. So with the reforms that I feel are being considered in the legislature, if the legislature approves those reforms or puts those reforms on the ballot, I think we would be able to be in a better position to curb some of the criminal activity that has been encouraged because of Prop 47. But it's not just Prop 47, it's Prop 57, Prop 109, et cetera. So I applaud not only the legislature for considering this and the governor for considering this, but I also applaud mayors London Breed and Mayor Matt Mahan for taking a position that 47 needs to be reformed as well. So you can align me with that train of thought and with those positions.
Well said, and I thank you for your answer. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back on this edition of Supervisors Report with our president of the board, Nate Miley, in just a moment. Welcome back to this edition of Supervisors Report with President of the Board, Nate Miley. I'm thinking about the Oakland A's. I'll bet there's a lot of people who think about Oakland A's too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The Oakland Ballers have continued to receive attention. What are your feelings regarding the pluses and minuses of their having the first season at Raimondi Park now that Laney College's field seems out of the question?
Well, if the question's about the Oakland Ballers playing at Raimondi Field, I think that would be a good thing because that field is in the heart of West Oakland. It's a field that could accommodate them, and I know the vicinity of that field has been challenged with homelessness and other types of activity that might not be conducive to a healthy quality of life. So if the Ballers come in here to play, I'm hoping that brings a spark to that area and uplifts that area and improves the overall quality of life. So I think it's a positive step towards resilience for that portion of West Oakland and maybe West Oakland in general.
Yes, Oakland facing a couple of double-edged prongs. I think the A's would like to end up with their stadium, but I just heard today that 2008 seems to be a target date for them. That puts them at a pinch.
Yes, I think the A's, from what I understand, and I'm on the Joint Powers Authority that deals with the sports teams, the Coliseum and the arena, we'll actually probably be having some conversation about this tomorrow at our meeting. But it is my understanding that the A's are interested in an extension of their license agreement so they can continue to play at the Coliseum for a longer period of time while their facility is being constructed in Las Vegas. The JPA hasn't taken a position on this, and I know the county hasn't, and the city will have to take a position as well. So we're going to maybe start those conversations with the A's tomorrow. I believe there's been some informal talks, but the JPA will take that matter up and begin considering it tomorrow. I believe that's on our agenda.
Well, I hope we'll all keep positive thoughts that will have a good outcome, but boy, that's been a lot to chew, hasn't it?
Yes, and quite frankly, I think everybody universally feels that if the A's had just decided to stay at the Coliseum, that would have been the best of all worlds. And then they could have built a new stadium next to the Coliseum, and they could be playing at the Coliseum as opposed to relocating to Las Vegas. I've heard the Las Vegas mayor is telling them to reconsider Oakland, which is a great thing.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Now, it certainly appears that your relationship with Governor Newsom has resulted in his taking other steps to cooperate with the Board of Supervisors by taking action to assist in Alameda County in general. Can you comment on some of the other initiatives that are being considered?
Now, outside of the efforts around the additional officers and prosecutors that are coming in to assist Oakland PD and the district attorney, the governor's office has been keeping me apprised of those directions, and I believe feels that I'm very supportive of what the governor is doing in that sense. And I also feel the governor is looking at other quality of life type issues around homelessness and illegal dumping. He's been very supportive of trying to address both of those concerns, because the issue of homelessness, it's a crisis. I got the Board of Supervisors to declare it an emergency last year, and our staff have come up with some additional action steps that we can take to address it even better, even though we've seen great results with our $2.5 billion Home Together plan. We're entering the third year, and we've seen really good results, but we still have more people becoming homeless than we're able to provide permanent, supportive housing with wraparound services. So I know the assistance of the governor helps out a lot there. And then the other piece is illegal dumping. We see that as a problem throughout everywhere. It occurs in urban communities, suburban communities, and rural communities. And I think the governor, particularly through Caltrans, has paid attention to the need to address illegal dumping as a quality of life type issue, because people shouldn't have to consider that to be the norm. They see their communities impacted by just so much dumping and debris. And we classify dumping a little differently than just the normal trash that you might find on the streets. Trash is a problem too, but illegal dumping is even more of a problem.
I certainly understand. And please, don't answer this if you don't want to. I'm just curious if you think there's any progress being made at the leadership of the police department in Oakland.
I really am not sure of that. I thought the mayor of Oakland was going to make an appointment at the end of December and decided that the candidates that were put forth were not acceptable. I don't know. I don't have any inside information what was the problem with those candidates, but she made that decision, and I believe the police commission for the city is now looking at other candidates to put forth to the mayor, and I believe she'll be getting those candidates sometime this spring, and then we'll be able to take a look at the candidates being recommended to decide whether or not any of them are capable. I do know that not having a permanent chief of police is also, it's not critical, but it's also, I think, a factor that is indicating the what's the word I'm looking for? The encouragement for criminal activity when you don't have somebody heading up your police department. And I know I've talked with other law enforcement chiefs throughout the county, and they also feel that it's important that Oakland gets a permanent police chief. And so that we stand on. And just recently, in fact, I was involved with a press event with Mayor Jesse Aragon from Berkeley, who's
Yes.
organizing a public safety corridor throughout the East Bay so that we can collectively come together through as jurisdictions with our various police agencies so that we can do a better job of focusing in on criminal activity because it doesn't just, like I said, Oakland might be the epicenter, but it affects the entire county and region.
Oh, he himself looks like is going to be running for another office and busy during this election period too.
Yes, he's running for state senate. Yes.
Yes, I'll bet he'd do a good job.
Well, since there's so many candidates in that race, I am not going to take a position on that at the moment.
No, sir, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. May I go on to ask instead, what are your priorities for the next quarter prior to your own election? Because I'm hoping to see you back on March 4th.
Yeah, me too. So Some of my priorities are, we've already touched upon homelessness, and that as an emergency. I do feel we need to continue to work with all deliberate speed and make addressing homelessness have a sense of urgency and a moral imperative to try to do a better job of getting a handle on it. And as I said, even though we're doing good, but we have more people becoming homeless than we're able to house. That's why, as a member of the Bay Area Housing Finance Authority for the whole region, 9-county Bay Area region, we're looking to put a housing bond on the ballot in November that could raise about $1 billion just for Alameda County for housing production, preservation, and protection to keep people housed. And that would go a long way in providing additional housing so that we can house the unsheltered and keep people housed as well, and provide those resources, because that's an important piece of the equation to end homelessness. Another important item, in addition to homelessness and affordable housing, is, obviously I've hit on this quite a bit, the blatant lawlessness, the brazen lawlessness, criminality that's occurring, because our society can't continue to function with that type of criminality taking place. Otherwise, people will have to arm themselves, and we don't want that to occur. We need to have sufficient law enforcement personnel who are doing their jobs professionally and constitutionally, so that we can have a better handle on addressing it. And we need to continue to have prevention, intervention, as well as enforcement. In addition, transportation is another important component of what I'm working on. Valley Link, bringing that in from San Joaquin County into Alameda County to get traffic off of the Altamont to deal with climate change and greenhouse gases is another important item as well. And then I would say one other thing that stands out beyond the importance of delivering quality services in the unincorporated area, which could be a city. If it were a city, it'd be the fourth largest city in the county. Only Oakland, Hayward, and Fremont would be larger. But in addition to delivering service in the unincorporated area is mental health. We need to address the mental health crisis and have more community-oriented mental health services so that we can stem the tide of people ending up having to go to Santa Rita Jail to receive services. But if they do end up in Santa Rita Jail, we need to make sure we're providing state-of-the-art services for the mentally ill that happen to be there. But definitely we need to get more community-oriented services for the mentally ill and those who are dual diagnosed. So those are some of my priorities.
Well, one that you just didn't happen to mention, but I was thinking of earlier today, I'm not sure that both District 1 and 4 are affected, but 680 certainly looks like it'd be nice when that gets finished.
Yes. I mentioned Valley Link as it relates to the Altamont and 580, but definitely 680 would be another important aspect of transportation.
Well, this has been really exciting speaking with you, especially with how busy you are. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being able to update us with these latest items. And I'm Dr. Marshall Kamena. I want to ask you to join us for the next episode of Supervisors Report with Nate Miley, right here on Tri-Valley TV. Thank you all for watching, and thank you.